Okay, number 9. Oh no, wait. Let me see how long this number 9 is before I start, because I could take a look. But this one's not that long. This one ends at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like 5.5 pages. So I want to get to page 100, then I guess I will go walk up the hill because I want to, and I want to go to my daughter happy. Well, that was what the song was about. Like something about a man being happy, and like, girl, like, don't you want me to? A man, like, a man that's happy is his best self. Like, what, don't you want like my best self around you? Like, I thought of a song like that. So that's the song. Chapter 9. Chapter 9 is where the basis and the idea of that song is at. So if I need to come back and figure out what the song was, I'll come back to chapter 9. Joe's funeral was the finest thing Orange County had ever seen with Negro eyes, the motor hearse, the Cadillac and Buick carriages, Dr. Henderson there in his Lincoln, the host from far and wide. Then again the gold and red purple, the glow and the glamour of the secret orders, each with its insinuations of power and glory, undreamed of by the uninitiated. People on farm horses and mules, babies riding astride of brothers and sisters' backs, the Elks band ranked at the church door and playing safe in the arms of Jesus, with such a dominant drum rhythm that it could be stepped off smartly by the long line as it filed inside. The little emperor of the crossroads was leaving Orange County as he had come, with the outstretched hand of power. Janie starched and ironed her face and came set in the funeral behind her veil was like a wall of stone and steel. The funeral was going on outside. All things concerning death and burial were said and done, finished, end, nevermore, darkness, deep hole, dissolution, eternity, weeping and wailing outside. Inside the expensive black folds were resurrection and life. She did not reach outside for anything, nor did the things of death reach inside to disturb her calm. She sent her face to Joe's funeral and herself went rollicking with the springtime across the world. After a while, the people finished their celebration and Janie went on home. Before she slept that night, she burned up every one of her head rags and went about the house next morning with her hair in one thick braid, swinging well below her waist. That was the only change people saw in her. She kept the store in the same way, except of evening she sat on the porch and listened and sent Hezekiah into wait on late custom. She saw no reason to rush at changing things around. She would have the rest of her life to do as she pleased. Most of the day she was at the store, but at night she was there in the big house, and sometimes it creaked and cried all night under the weight of lonesomeness. Then she lay awake in the bed asking lonesomeness some questions. She asked if she wanted to leave and go back where she had come from and try to find her mother. Maybe tend her grandmother's grave, sort of look over the old stamping ground generally. Digging around inside of herself like that, she found that she had no interest in that seldom seen mother at all. She hated her grandmother and had hidden it from herself all these years under a cloak of pity. She had been getting ready for a great journey to the horizons in search of people. It was important to all the world that she would find them and they find her. But she had been whipped like a cur dog and run off down a back road after things. It was all according to the way you see things. Some people could look at a mud puddle and see an ocean with ships, but Nanny belonged to that other kind that loved to deal in scraps. Here Nanny had taken the biggest thing God ever made, the horizon, for no matter how far a person can go, the horizon is still way beyond you, and pinched it into such a little bit of a thing that she could tie it about her granddaughter's neck tight enough to choke her. She hated the old women who had twisted her soul in the name of love. Most humans didn't love one another nohow, and this mislove was so strong that even common blood couldn't overcome it all the time. She had found a jewel down inside herself, and she had wanted to walk where people could see her and gleam it around. But she had been set in the marketplace to sell, been set for the still bait. When God had made the man, he made him out of stuff that sung all the time and glittered all over. Somebody whistle. Fucking on my vibe, brother. Oh no. Telling me one of the truck went too far. He has to pull in right here. When God had made the man, he made him out of stuff that sung all the time and glittered all over. Then after some angels got jealous and chopped him into millions of pieces, but still he glittered and hummed. So they beat him down to nothing but sparks. But each little spark had a shine and a song, so they covered each one over with mud, and the lonesomeness and the sparks make them hunt for one another. But the mud is deaf and dumb. Like all the other tumbling mud balls, Janie had tried to show her shine. Janie found out very soon that her widowhood and property was a great challenge in South Florida. Before Jordy had been dead a month, she noticed how often men who had never been intimates of Joe drove considerable distance to ask her welfare and offer their services as advisor. Okay. A woman by herself is a pitiful thing, she was told over and over again. They needs aid and assistance. God never meant them to try to stand by themselves. You ain't been used to knocking around and doing for yourself, Miss Starks. You've been well taken care of. You needs a man. Janie laughed at all these well wishes because she knew that they knew plenty of women alone, that she was not the first one they had ever seen, but most of the others were poor. Besides, she liked being lonesome for a change. The freedom feeling was fine. These men didn't represent a thing she wanted to know about. She had already experienced them through Logan and Joe. She felt like slapping some of them for sitting around grinning at her like a pack of chessy cats, trying to make out they looked like love. Ike Green sat on her case seriously one evening on the store porch when he was lucky enough to catch her alone. You wants to be careful about who you marry, Miss Starks. These strange men running here trying to take advantage of your condition. Mary, Janie almost screamed. Joe ain't had time to get cold yet. I ain't even give marrying the first thought, but you will. You's too young a woman to stay single, and you's too pretty for them men's to leave you alone. You's bound to marry. I hope not. I mean, at this present time, it don't come before me. Joe ain't been dead 2 months, ain't got settled down in his grave. That's what you say now, but 2 months, Mo, and you'll sing another tune. Then you want to be careful. Women folks is easy taken advantage of. You know what to let none of these stray N-words that's sitting around here get the inside track on you. They just lack a pack of hogs. They just like a pack of hogs when they see a full truff. What you needs is a man that you done lived around and know all about to sort of manage your things for you and generally do around. Janie jumped upon her feet. Lord, I Green, use a case. This subject you bringing up ain't fit to be talked about at all. Let me go inside and help Ezekiel weigh up that barrel of sugar that just come in. She rushed on inside the store and whispered to Ezekiel, I'm going to the house. Let me know when that old P to bed is gone and I'll be right back. 6 months of wearing black passed. 6 months of wearing black passed, and not one suitor had ever gained the house porch. Janie talked and laughed in the store at times, but never seemed to want to go further. She was happy except for the store. She knew by her head that she was absolute owner, but it was always seemed to her that she was still clerking for Joe, and that soon he would come in and find something wrong that she had done. She almost apologized to the tenants the first time she collected the rents, felt like a usurper, but she hid that feeling by sending Ezekiel, who was the best imitation of Joe that his 17 years could make. He had even taken to smoking and smoking cigars since Joe's death and tried to bite him tight in one side of his mouth like Joe. Every chance he got, he was reared back in Joe's swivel chair, trying to thrust out his lean belly into a pouch. She laughed quietly at his no-arm posing and pretend she didn't see it. One day as she came in the back door of the store, she heard him bawling at Trip Coward. Nah, indeed, we can't do nothing of the kind. I God, you ain't paid for them last rations you done ate up. I God, you won't get no more out this store than you got money to pay for. I got this ain't gimme, Florida. This is Eatonville. Another time she overheard him using Joe's favorite expression for pointing out the differences between himself and the careless living, mouthy town. I'm an educated man. I keep my arrangements in my hands. She laughed outright at that. His acting didn't hurt nobody, and she wouldn't know what to do without him. He sensed that and came to treat her like a baby sister, as if to say, you poor little thing, give it to Big Brother. He'll fix it for you. His sense of ownership made him honest, too, except for an occasional jawbreaker or packet of sensen. The sensen was to let on to the other boys and the pooler-sized girls that he had a liquor breath to cover. This business of managing stores and women's store owners was trying on a man's nerves. He needed a drink of liquor now and then to keep up. When Janie emerged into her morning white, she had hosts of admirers in and out of town. Everything open and frank, men of property too among the crowd, but nobody seemed to get any further than the store. She was always too busy to take them to the house to entertain. They were all so respectful and stiff with her that she might have been the Empress of Japan. They found that it was not fitting to mention desire to the widow of Joseph Starks. He spoke of honor and respect, and all that they said and did was refracted by her inattention and shot off towards the rim bones of nothing. She and Phoebe Watson visited back and forth, and once in a while sat around the lakes and fished. She was just basking in freedom for the most part without the need for thought. A Sanford undertaker was pressing his cause through Phoebe, and Jenny was listening pleasantly but undisturbed. It might be nice to marry him at that, no hurry. Such things take time to think about, or rather she pretended to Phoebe that that was what she was doing. Tain't that our worries over Joe's death. Ain't that our worries over Joe's death, Phoebe? I just loves this freedom. Shh, shh, shh. Don't let nobody hear you say that, Jenny. Folks will say you ain't sorry he's gone. Let them say what they wants to Phoebe. To my thinking, mourning oughtn't to last no longer in grief. To my thinking, mourning oughtn't to last no longer than grief. So that was the end of chapter 9. So this one is long. Oh, this one takes me to where I want to go. This one ends on page 99.